If you've spent your entire career mastering compliance, holding the line on safety, and making sure processes are followed to the letter, you might be thinking, what's next for me? But what if all that experience wasn't the end of the road? What if it was just the training for your next and maybe most critical mission? Let's dive into why your expertise might be the perfect fit for one of aviation's most vital roles. Think about it. Every single flight operates on a massive amount of trust. We trust the pilots, we trust the engineers, but the real foundation of that trust, it's built on the ground, long before a plane even thinks about leaving the gate. It's built right into the tarmac, the lighting systems, and every single procedure. So who's the guardian of that trust on the ground? Who makes sure that whole system we all depend on stays absolutely rock solid? Well, the answer might be a lot closer than you think. In fact, it might just be you. We are talking about the Airport Safety and Compliance Inspector. Now, let's be clear, this role isn't about the aircraft itself. This is all about the airport, the entire operational environment. We're talking runways, fueling protocols, the perimeter fences, you name it. Somebody has to inspect all of it and enforce the rules. No exceptions. Okay, so what does this mission actually look like day to day? Let's pull back the curtain and get a real feel for what an inspector does. Well, the work is detailed and it's demanding. You could be driving down a runway at 2 in the morning, meticulously scanning for pavement cracks. Or you might be verifying that de-icing procedures are being followed to the absolute letter. Or ensuring the airport's master safety plan, what's called its Safety Management System, or SMS, is perfectly documented and followed. It's a job of immense detail. And yeah, it's often done at weird hours when the airfield is finally quiet. And the stakes? Well, they literally could not be higher. This is not about ticking boxes on a checklist. This is about preventing a catastrophe. And the tragic story of the Air France Concorde is, well, it's a powerful and sobering lesson in just how vital this role really is. It all started with something that seems almost insignificant. Just a small strip of metal that had fallen off a plane that took off earlier. A piece of what's known in the industry as FOD, foreign object debris, just lying there. On the very surface, an inspector is responsible for keeping spotless. As Air France 4590 began its takeoff, that little piece of metal shredded one of the Concorde's tires. The flying debris was sucked into the engines, leading to a catastrophic fire and a crash that just stunned the world. A tiny, tiny detail on the ground had the most devastating consequences imaginable in the air. This tragedy just hammers home the core principle of the job: constant vigilance. Because the smallest oversight can have the absolute largest impact. So who has the right kind of mindset for that level of responsibility? This is where you might come in. You see, this role is an almost perfect fit for experienced professionals from other fields that are heavy on compliance. So let me just ask you directly. After all those years honing your skills, could this be the meaningful second act you've been looking for? Just take a look at this list. Have you spent the last 10, maybe 20 years in one of these areas? If you understand good manufacturing practices in pharma, or you've lived and breathed EHS compliance, or you've done quality control on a massive infrastructure project, guess what? You already speak the language of safety and regulation. And maybe even more importantly, do you have the mindset? Are you the person who always sees the tiny detail that everybody else misses? Are you the one with the confidence to say, stop, this isn't right, and make sure it gets corrected? If that sounds familiar, you're already halfway there. See, this isn't about starting from zero, not at all. It's about translating the deep expertise you already have, building directly on what you already know. And just look at how direct the skills translation is. Your experience auditing standard operating procedures in a lab, that is the exact same skill set you need for auditing an airfield's safety management system. That sharp eye you developed for spotting hairline cracks in concrete on a bridge project, that's the same eye you need for runway pavement inspection. It's a direct match. Remember, this is a pivot, not a reset. You're leveraging a whole career's worth of knowledge and applying it to a new, dynamic environment where it has an immediate and absolutely vital impact. Now, of course, there's some specific training required. In the US, that means getting up to speed on FAA Part 139 regulations. Up in Canada, it's Transport Canada's TP 312. But listen, these aren't four-year degrees. These are certifications that build right on top of the solid foundation you already have. And when you bring all of this together, your experience, your mindset, and the specific aviation knowledge, this role really transforms from just being a job into something more. It becomes the living, breathing embodiment of this idea. Safety isn't just someone else's responsibility, right? It's a personal commitment. It's a way of seeing the world. And it's a mindset you have been carefully cultivating for your entire professional life. Think of it this way. Every single audit you ran, every safety protocol you enforced, every time you held the line on quality, that was your training. That was the preparation for this. So as you think about what's next, ask yourself this. Is all that experience ready for a new challenge? Is your next mission the one that leverages every single thing you've learned waiting for you right there on the airfield?